Today I'm here with Chris Nelson, who has just joined the team at Harper. He is preparing for one of the wildest tech events on Earth. He is going to DEF CON 2025 in Vegas in a few weeks. Chris is competing in the RF Space CTF, or Capture the Flag, at DEF CON. He's done that for a few years now. So we're going to talk a little bit about DEF CON and how to prepare for the RF hacking CTF, and then we'll jump in from there. So, Chris, so set the stage for us. What is DEF CON like, and what do you like about it? What makes it so unique?
Yeah, super amazing. I've been going really not all that. I mean, yeah, you talk to some people and they've been going for, 25 years. This will only be my fourth time. However, I do remember back in high school, reading 2600 and reading about DEF CON and being like, oh, I gotta go to this. And I just never did until, yeah, like 4 years ago. I talked about it a lot. My partner was like, guess what? I got you tickets. You're going.
Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah, I was pretty nervous. I'm an introvert. Don't really like crowds. Con is very crowded, but I just have had just the most amazing time every time I've been. It's super wonderful. There's something for literally everyone. You don't have to be any kind of hacker at all. Really, the only thing you need to be is curious, and you will have an absolute ball at DEF CON. So yeah, don't mean to go on too much, but there's a lot of people. I don't know exactly, but 20, 30,000. There are just an ungodly amount of talks ranging from like policy to like, detailed walkthroughs for some security teams' latest exploits to, anecdotal stuff on, running a dark web, marketplace site, like all sorts of stuff. That's just, yeah, super interesting. And then in addition, they have like a bunch of villages, they're called, which are just like areas that are kind of, organized by area of interest. And each of them have all sorts of stuff for you to do, almost all of them from any experience level. Yeah, so it's just nonstop learning,
Yeah.
and talking to new folks, and fun. So
Well, what would have been some of your favorite exhibits in the past?
I really love I'm horrible at it, but I really love the physical security. I forget the
Uh,
exact name of the village, but they have all sorts of like workshops for you to practice, not just picking locks, but like everything you could imagine in terms of defeating physical security. And that's, yeah, like I said, not very dexterous. But it is really fun, and it's cool to look at all the different gadgets. And they also have some very flashy exhibits. Obviously, the last few years, a lot of AI stuff, which is pretty cool. But I really like the kind of the smaller ones. I love the like embedded electronics stuff. And like I've done a few workshops at some of the villages that have just been really well designed and organized. You can come in with, you know, any level of experience and walk away, yeah, learning something, and excited to try it out on your own. So
what is your main experience about when you are trying to learn about DEF CON before you went initially, or like how did you hear about it? I haven't seen these things on YouTube as much. No one's like walking around like they do at CES, like filming everything. It's not that kind of event. So
yeah,
where can people go to learn about it?
yeah, sure. Well, let's see. I would be hesitant to ascribe the label nefarious.
Okay.
Definitely lots of things are, but really it's just, it's kind of a celebration of the hacker ethos, and
Yeah.
just knowledge and experimentation and that kind of thing. Obviously, with any skill, you can use it for good or bad. But yeah, it's really, it's less about like gleefully being able to like pick your neighbor's lock than being like, oh, I understand how a lock works now. This is awesome. I first heard about it years and years ago, reading some hacker zines like Blacklisted 411 and 2600 and stuff like that. Very little information available to my, 15-year-old self then,
Yeah.
with limited access to the internet. But nowadays there's all sorts of stuff. The DEF CON Reddit is great. They have all sorts of threads for what you could expect as a new person going. There's, yeah, the DEF CON Discord, where you're welcome to ask like any questions. What you won't find is like, yeah, a detailed, video walkthrough of someone, like you said, yeah. Just because, due to like the sensitive nature of stuff, and people are, don't want some people might not want their faces and or names associated with things. So yeah, so yeah, you can't you can't take video or photography inside it unless you've obtained the consent of everyone that you're taking a picture of. And they do have some
Mm,
areas that are like, this is a photo wall, that kind of thing.
mm, cool.
But if you're interested in going to DEF CON, yeah, check out the Reddit, check out the DEF CON Discord. There's all sorts of resources for, yeah, folks that haven't been before.
So you're competing again. Is this your third time or fourth time competing in the RF space CTF?
Yeah, this will be my third time competing. Yeah, the RF CTF. So CTF stands for Capture the Flag. That's kind of the general format that most of the competitions at DEF CON are. I don't know the count of the number of competitions, but I'm sure it's, north of 100. And yeah, the RF CTF is for everything involving radio frequency. So that's Wi-Fi, ham radio, software-defined radio, RFID, NFC, yeah, stuff like that. In my past, I've loved learning everything about all sorts of different kinds of, hacking and stuff like that. For some reason, I've really gravitated toward the RF side of things and really enjoy it. And that goes back, yeah, I don't know, 15 years or more or so in my own
It's
little lab.
Yeah, it's like it feels like it's fairly like practical in that sense that like we all have Wi-Fi
Oh,
signals
yeah,
that we're emitting. like,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm a little scared. You live in my neighborhood and you're like RF hacking.
Yeah. So yeah. It's yeah. I mean, yeah, it's fine. You don't got to worry about anything. Well, you probably, but not from me.
Nice.
But yeah, the general format is they have in the competition, it runs for 2.5, 3 days or something like that.
Yeah.
And there are X number of flags. Those
Mm,
flags range in difficulty. And in order to obtain the flag, you'll have to do different stuff. So oh, sorry, let me clarify. In the RF Village, their whole space is set up. They do have like physical stuff for you to participate in for the CTF. So like physical infrastructure for you to do the CTF. They also have done an incredibly amazing job, and they have virtualized everything as well, which is really great because, especially when you're talking about in terms of RF, you imagine yourself in a super crowded convention center. You can guess that the RF space is going to be really super duper congested, and when you throw in a bunch of hackers doing their thing, that's just going to get worse and worse. So
yeah.
I think a large majority of, well, I don't know. I bet a lot of people participate kind of purely from the virtual environment. And that is great because you can continue to work on the CTF after the con is closed down for the night and you're back home with
Mm,
your buds in your hotel room. So it's awesome. But anyways, so they have various different flags. That are kind of organized by, might be Wi-Fi, it might be ham radio, it might be SD radios, like stuff like that. Some of them do require like physical access, for example, RFID, like hotel keys, that kind of thing,
mhm,
cloning them, and yeah, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so for example, for like the Wi-Fi flag, you might need to get the password for a certain Wi-Fi network, and that password would be the flag. You might need to get the password for a Wi-Fi network and connect to it and take a look at what's going on in that on the network, and that might be the flag for another challenge,
mhm.
that kind of thing. So yeah.
Cool. How do you go about preparing for these things or like learning about this to like where does somebody get started in RF hacking?
Well, let's see. I mean, the best way to get started is to just do it. Obviously you don't want to do it on your neighbor's Wi-Fi. So, the best thing to do is to just purchase a cheap little Wi-Fi router and set up your own little network at home. And that way you can also configure it for different various, security configurations. So you can practice different techniques and that kind of thing. How-to guides and stuff like that. The RF space is huge. Even the Wi-Fi space is huge. And so depending on what you're trying to accomplish, there's all sorts of different ways you can go about it, all sorts of different tools to use. Yeah, if you want to learn on your own, you just really get going and you figure out which tools you like and when to use one tool versus the other. It really really helps a lot to read some like technical white papers on the protocols involved because anybody can just follow along, but unless you
Hmm.
really like, kind of understand what's happening, at least on some level, it's a lot harder to translate a how-to guide into action when the environment isn't the exact same as the how-to guide.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing, like for RFID stuff, which is really fun, there's all sorts of tools that you can use, ranging in price, obviously. They have some cheaper stuff, and then they have like some more expensive stuff. You'll
You
hear
said
about,
RFID there. What RF radio frequency id RFID?
I think ID, radio frequency ID, but if
Okay.
you're talking about, yeah, like, yeah, you're talking about like that encompasses, oh, I'm not totally sure if NFC is technically RFID or not, but yeah. Anyways, you're talking
Okay.
about like high frequency and low frequency. That's everything from like key fobs to hotel access cards to,
Mm,
access cards to your garage or apartment building. That's really fun to play around with. It feels so cool to be able to clone your hotel
mm,
access card and get in to your room with, yeah, it's really fun. A couple tools there is there's the Proxmark. That's an amazing Swiss Army knife of all things RF. It's really cool. That's a little pricey. You can get some clones for cheaper, but that's like 350 to 400. Then there's the really fun Flipper Zero, which wouldn't be surprised if you or lots of folks have heard of. It's a really neat, nifty little tool that can really do all sorts of stuff, and it's really fun to play with. So,
what kind
uh,
of things can it do?
um, it's kind of up to you, but it is just like a little. Oh, I could pull it out. Oh no,
Yeah.
I'll have to go find it. But anyways, it's like maybe yay big,
Okay.
and it's got a little cutesy interface, and you can put custom firmware on it to do all sorts of stuff, including getting around some limitations that are required to have a device that
Yeah.
can operate in the sub gigahertz range. But yeah, you can do all sorts of stuff. It's really neat for basically helping you see like what's in the RF space around you.
Hmm.
There's all sorts of really fun stuff you can do. You can loading up Amiibo on it and getting my son, all of the amiibo in Zelda. With That's great. You could do all sorts of fun stuff. You could try to scan your pet's, pet tag, like that kind of thing. There's just so much you can do with it. Just Google Flipper Zero if you're interested. If
Yeah.
you're interested in this at all, that is a great device to start with, and there's all sorts
Cool.
of fun stuff you can do. So.
Awesome. Yeah, I kind of envision this as being like in the movies where somebody's like, we have to get close to the purse, and then they get close to it, the copy over some key, and then they get access to the vault or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It seems like that's what you're talking about here. Is that all that stuff that we're seeing in the movies, but like in real life?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Cool.
And then it's cool once you learn more about it because it does help you feel safer because you realize,
Yeah.
some of the limitations that are involved in this kind of technology. Then you go to a place at DEF CON and you see people, build rigs that can clone cards from, an insane distance away. But yeah, anyways, it's great. Everyone should learn about all this stuff because, yeah, it's pertinent and important.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like people, in some sense, it gives people a sense of fear, and I feel like people try to avoid those things. But in some sense, that awareness of what these are can start to protect ourselves. We can start to kind of not be as not leave our key cards like in our wallet unprotected in a certain way, and
Yeah, definitely.
it
Yep.
can really help.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's awesome. So anything else about DEF CON that you want to share or about RF hacking that you think people would be interested in learning about it?
Let's see. I don't the I said it at the beginning, but really, if you have any kind of curiosity at all, if you enjoy meeting people, especially if you are like an introverted weirdo like myself, it's a lot. Yeah, you can meet other introverted weirdos, and it's a nice safe space for introverted weirdos.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just a great time, and there's so much to learn and do. Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for chatting with me about DEF CON so I could learn a little bit more about it. And if you're going, check out the resources in the link below, and we'll get you set up for RF hacking in the future. So, thank you.